Hello again everyone, Saki here and welcome back to Formula 1 2021. And in the last time we ran the Singapore Grand Prix, the street course that I struggled very heavily on, but the next couple races should be very good for us. We have the Japanese Grand Prix coming up, as well as the United States Grand Prix right after. A couple race courses that I know very well, so as a driver, I'm not going to be trying to figure out the track in practice. I can just go for broke, just like Italy. So first and foremost, of course, we have a few days between now and Japan. So let's get some activities on the board. And as we are Team Acclaim 14, at 15 we get our third sponsor, and that is going to unlock a lot more money for us. So let's do our sponsor event fundraiser, spend 5 grand for another 100 Team Acclaim. Research and development, we have failed our sticky uppy bits on our aerodynamic side, so we can choose to get those ready to go once again. No failure chance, and they'll be ready before the United States Grand Prix, so we will go ahead and get on that for 10 days. Chassis side, we're still working on our monocoque structure, 16 days in development. The only thing left is the heave dampers, and that is a minuscule improvement by any stretch of the imagination. Let's see if we have something else. Powertrain, a little bit too rich for our blood. The ECU is, even though it's reduced cost, it's still more expensive than the points we have, as well as that rotor speed. So come on, durability. So we are 2 days away from the energy store reliability testing. If that is good, that will be done before Japan, and we can have a little bit more durability as far as that's concerned. And everything else looks to be a little bit more expensive than we need. So we will stock up on our 674 research points and head on through our activities. Go ahead and advance time. The 5th, we got that restarted, and
we had a major issue on the
done.
production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
All right, we'll keep that in mind then, but we are off to the Suzuka International Racing course for the Japanese Grand Prix. Practice should be pretty good for us, so I will see you then. So a bunch of guys didn't start, including our teammates stayed in, but we went out on the inters and got 5th fastest and got, wow, Sergio. Man, he must have got out right before the rain came out, but we got our track acclimatization program done, and it looks to be dry the rest of the weekend. So we'll be set to do our tire management and race strategy programs in practice too, but really, really fun. I can see we're the only ones with a penalty. If I can see that in practice 2 or 3, we may just skip qualifying altogether if no one else is taking a penalty. Save the car and save the tires.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it.
Hey Claire.
How did it feel to be racing on home turf?
Fantastic. This track has the best fans.
How do you feel these grid penalties are affecting the sport?
Oh man. See, it was my call that that we swapped everything out. I'm not going to comment on that one.
Do you think your teammate was enjoying themselves in front of their home crowd?
Oh, they're loving it. The crowd has been great to them, even though he didn't practice. Shoot, I'm sure they loved him.
Do you think this team are performing as well as they could do?
They're hard workers, always improving and learning from their mistakes.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Claire. So that is a good chunk of our questions answered for the weekend. So practice 2 done. We ended up coming in 11th, and we got all of our programs done and completed. So for the sake of reliability, I think we're going to skip practice 3, and we have to out-qualify Sebastian, and I think we've got a shot at it. We're 6/10 faster at least in this practice session, so at least for the rivalry, we're going to do qualifying and just try to beat Sebastian. So I'll see you after Q1. So all of our program practice done. Development boost, 1,600 points. So that will help us get some research and development done. Let's get a look at our reductions there. So a few more % on our reliability testing there, on our rotor speed and our heave dampers. Pretty soon those will get so dirt cheap that we can just take them without much of a second thought. There is some rotor speed that's going to be substantial, and even more heave damper reduction. So we might pick that up here soon. Team Acclaim 10 and maybe a third. Nobuharu sitting at 9. And as far as the team goes, sitting at 2/3 or so. So hopefully qualifying in the race can put us above that magical 15 team acclaim. So that's qualifying 1 done. Sebastian ended up qualifying in 10th, and as you can see, it was chucking down rain the entire time. We barely squeaked through by 3/100ths of a second over Kimi. So yeah, we're on to Q2, and Q2 and Q3 looked a whole lot better. So let's see if we can actually improve over Sebastian. So Valtteri laid down a 130.3. We managed a 132.6. So 14th is as best we got. Sebastian, we missed him by 2/10. So unfortunately, Sebastian outqualified us, and we're going to be starting dead last on the field with all of our penalties. So Sebastian gets his 2 points. We get 1 for completed qualifying, a little bit of team acclaim boost, and I'm just hoping that the race will prove fruitful for us and break us into that 15 level.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Ise Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc and Perez, Sainz, Gasly, Tsunoda and Lance Stroll, Vettel, Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen and Russell, Giovinazzi, Ocon, Nicholas Latifi and Mick Schumacher, Matsushita, Mazepin, Fernando Alonso and the Tigress. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
I'll try not to. So we are at 13 laps here at Suzuka, 7 on the softs and 6 on the mediums, 14.1 laps in the tank. Starting on those softs, let's see if we can get a whole shot jump here on the start. Clutch in first gear and away we go. Good launch there. Let's get to the left side of Mazepin and Alonso blocking as well. Heavy braking into this right-hander here. Harvey wants to sail around the outside here. Try to make it stick as best we can. And funnel in single file for these S's. Touching the curb, not recommended. See if we can get to the inside on this hairpin. Good movement, try to get that power down in that launch on the Alpine to our right.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
Good deal. Selling in behind Giovinazzi and the long straightaway. Power down. And down the long straightaway, we might be able to get him to the inside here. Nice pass on Giovinazzi. And set up for the start-finish line straightaway. Right behind Esteban, getting that good pull. 15th right in front of us here. Good move on George out of that hairpin there, settling in for lap 3. DRS is enabled.
DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
So we'll try to get within 1 second of Raikkonen here and get that DRS pull. Good pull on Raikkonen down the straightaway. We will be tucked in right behind, setting up for this right-hander. And clear of Raikkonen, and away we go.
You're in P13.
DRS open and starting lap 4 in 13th. Lap 4 getting the pull off of Max Verstappen, who is back here in 12th, not having a good day, that is for sure. Fastest purple sector, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can get a twofer here. Verstappen blocking low. And we'll have DRS on the straightaway. Verstappen with a massive launch.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums. We're leading our teammate by 6.5 seconds.
Dive bombing Max into that hairpin, setting up for Sebastian. We're making up our time in those braking zones. Settling in behind Sebastian Vettel, going for 11th. Good toe. 200 miles an hour, brake to the left. Keep our foot in it. And settling in behind Lance Stroll, who is right in the top 10. Right on Lance's gearbox. Good launch out of that corner. We'll take advantage down to the inside. And he got the crossover, drove it in a little bit too hard, but we can get him on the straightaway, I have no doubt.
We're going to box this lap. Push hard on the in-lap.
Starting lap 7, a few others are pitting. Lance Stroll still right behind us here. Down the back stretch for the final time on these old tires. The Aston Martin still holding strong behind. So we'll be coming in this time for our medium tires.
Be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tire grip around now.
Pretty much nailed that pit entry, and one of the Aston Martins is behind us. We'll see where we shake out. We'll be on the medium tires as a lot of the drivers in front of us. There goes Tsunoda in front. Clutch in.
Go, go, go. You'll be racing on the exit.
All right, we got that Aston Martin. Good deal. Waiting for that pit limiter and go.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
All right, fresh mediums. Let's see what we can do. Starting lap 9, passing a lot of cars on pit road. That'll move us into the top 10. Fastest sector 2, that's what I'm talking about.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Anything that we can get to get away from Max Verstappen. Starting lap 10, still in 10th.
15.2 seconds.
Starting lap 11, Max Verstappen still hounding us back there for this 10th place. Starting lap 12, Verstappen 0.6 seconds behind, holding steady.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag, car off, it's a Ferrari.
Green flag.
And Charles Leclerc is out of the session, moving us up into 9th and almost guaranteeing us points. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Max Verstappen still 0.6 behind, but a fastest sector 3 for us. Let's keep up the pressure here. Solid turn 1, let's get through these S's okay. Power down, Max is right there, breathing down our necks. Good launch out of that. We just need to get a launch out of the hairpin here. Good launch, powered down. ERS, go. And just spoon to go, really. Carry as much speed as I could, powered down, get that launch off and try to break the draft. I see Max is trying to follow us here. Keep it flat foot. And through the last chicane. Powered down, and Max is not going to have enough. We'll come across the line in 9th for our home race.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Whew! So putting in the work, a very fun racetrack, and there we go, driver of the day at home, coming from the back to finish 9th.
Another action-packed Japanese Grand Prix comes to an end. And what a magnificent drive to take the win here today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So a good podium for Lewis and Valtteri and Lando Norris as well.
But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the Tigress. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
So as you can see by sheer pace with our best lap, nowhere near the competition in front. Perhaps we should have finished 7th or so, even without the penalty that we had for the grid. I don't think we would have got a podium just because those guys were lapping at a second faster than us every lap. It would have been bad. But one good thing is we outraced Sebastian Vettel, who started in 11th and finished 12th. So a good leapfrog for us. Let's take a look at the standings. So still solidly in 9th over Pierre Gasly by a good 14 points, but 44 points away from Carlos Sainz. So not going to get into 8th, I don't believe. And constructors solidly in 6th over Aston Martin. Not quite doubled, but almost there, but then 15 or so points shy of AlphaTauri. That one might be doable, getting a top 5, but AlphaTauri is very strong indeed. We'll just have to see. So lap 12, Charles Leclerc coming out of the S's and just does not get back on the power. Nothing coming from the engine block, however, but really slow on the hill, and that is where we saw old Charles to make that pass. And starting the last lap, Max Verstappen on our gearbox. Let's take a look at how close he was for approach. So really diving in there in his Japanese livery. And we managed to gap him a bit in the S's, but exiting the S's, old Max was a little bit faster, and you can see him get right on our rear there. Just trying to carry as much speed as possible up through here. And yeah, Max right there keeping the pressure on. I think if we didn't swap out parts to give ourselves a nearly brand new car, we wouldn't be able to hold off that Red Bull behind us. But to finish in 9th in our home Grand Prix, starting from dead last, I mean, what more can you ask for?
Amazing performance out there. I'm
What
sure
up,
you're
girl?
pretty happy with that. You had a lot of fans out there today. Does the pressure get to you when you're back home?
Nah, the pressure pushes you to try harder. Home fans are the best.
How do you feel these grid penalties are affecting the sport?
I'm not answering that, Claire.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
The power unit is definitely good. I wouldn't say that the car is nimble, but the aero package is fantastic. It's the best in the field. That'll help the aero
Your team
department.
must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
They are. I do it just to see the smiles on their faces, boost up some of their morale.
Appreciate your time.
So 4-2 points over Sebastian. We just didn't get the podium, but we are good to go. So sitting halfway done, 15 out of 30 points to Sebastian's 12. And not quite enough to get to Team Acclaim 15. Old Nobuharu actually losing some driver acclaim. But next time at the United States Grand Prix, we're going to hit it. And 6 questions answered, $565,000 for that. And that will bring us 10 days before the United States Grand Prix. Lisa's home race was this time, and my home track will be next time. And I love COTA. It's a fun racetrack, and we're not going to be taking any grid penalties. So we should be able to get a nice, solid starting place and really put the power down and show them what for. But that will do it for me in this episode of F1 2021. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you for my home race, the United States Grand Prix. Take care.